All right, today we're doing the brakes on all four corners of this Honda Odyssey. It's a 2019. Let's get started on the front. This wheel was missing a lug nut. I checked the rest of them. They got 5 in each of them. So I got one of these coming. Let me bring you in closer to show you what I'm doing. All right, 14 millimeter. We're gonna go ahead and pull this caliper off. No Loctite on there. Pull this off, and I'll just turn it around and hang it up. That way we're not going to stretch out this brake hose here. If you can see these are anti-drag springs. We got brand new ones with the new pads, so these can go in the trash. These pads don't look too bad, but the owner wants them changed out. He's got a problem with brake pulsation. I've already tested the run out on these rotors, and it's out of spec. We got about 5 or 6 thousandths of an inch of run out, sort of it being warped. So these rotors need replaced. We'll go ahead and do the pads at the same time. All right, that's a 19 millimeter for this caliper bracket. There we go. All right, this bit ought to fit here. Oh, look at that. Came out just with my fingers. This thing must have been off before or something. Not really sure. I was going to use an impacting screwdriver, but turns out I don't need it. Let's see if this rotor wants to. Yep, sure does. This is too easy. But we are in Florida, so that helps a lot. I'm going to go ahead and use this to give it a little bit of a polish, get that rust off the hub. That little pad that I was using on the die grinder was just a Scotch-Brite pad. Right here on the caliper, around the caliper pistons, and on these ears here. Just gonna get some of that loose dirt off of there. These aren't too bad, not a lot of rust or anything like that, so not too much to worry about. I just want to get them cleaned up before I push them back in. I showed before how you can take 2 pry bars like this and you can push out like that, usually with a brake pad on either side, and you can push those pistons in the cheap way, or I'm going to use just this piston pushback tool. These are pretty expensive, but they're darn convenient. Check the fluid level to make sure that you have enough room in the reservoir to get this brake fluid back up in it. And if you don't, you're gonna have to crack open the bleeder. All right, that looks good. Before I bring the bracket over, I'm gonna use some blue Loctite. This is the solid stuff, so just gotta dip that in there a little bit. A little tiny bit of blue Loctite, that's all we're gonna use. And straight from Honda, we've got the brand new brake rotors. I like using OEM parts when I can. This comes in a vapor-proof bag, so there's no oil on it. All right, I'm gonna line up my mounting hole with the hole. Put our rotor screw in there. Unnecessary, but it's helpful. No torque needed for this little guy. You just kind of put it in there until it's seated all the way in, and that's it. If you live in the Rust Belt, you might want to put a rust preventative on the hub and also on the face here, but we live in Florida, no problem. Let's go ahead and get this caliper bracket ready to go. Like I said, the brakes come with all new hardware, so I can get rid of these also and get nice new shiny ones. And let's go ahead and clean all this stuff out. Thank God for Florida. For some of you who live in the Rust Belt. Oh, look at this. Oh, that was pretty stuck. Go ahead and get that out, grease it up. For those of you who live in the Rust Belt, that's going to be a lot more difficult. You might need to use a file or some other method to get off all the nasty corrosion and all that, but here we don't have a lot to worry about. Just gotta shine it up a bit, clean it. You don't want too much on here, just brush it on, good light layer. You want these to move freely, but not get all clogged up with too much grease, especially right here on the end. Don't put any there, just around the outside so it slides slippery smooth. That's what we want. I like it. If there's any air, if this starts puffing out on you, just go ahead and burp the air out. You want that to be, needs to look just like that. Got that AC cranking. It's March. We're already getting hot out. It's like 80 degrees out there or something. I know some of you are still suffering with snow and the effects of that, but we're well out of winter. Just about time to go surfing. All right. Oh, that feels good. Nice and smooth. Where the hardware is, I'm gonna grease that up too. Now, I wanna be careful here because I don't want any of this grease to get on the rotors. So don't have big globs of stuff, at least, especially on this side here. So just kind of carefully brush it on. Anywhere that hardware comes into contact with this caliper bracket, that's where I want grease. Keeps you from getting the squeaks, the noise, and all that from your brakes. This is going to help prevent that. Here's that hardware kit. This hardware just pushes right on. Tough to get this wrong, they're both the same. So you just push it on until it's in place. Now this is going to be the outside pad. I know this because it doesn't have a squealer. I'll show you that in a second. So this goes on the outside. And here's the inside. See this guy right here? That is the squealer. So when the pad sort of wears out, that's going to touch the rotor and squeal, and it's going to make a terrible noise, so you know that you need new brakes. That goes on the inside, just like this. It should, if you did this right, it'll just go right on just with fingertip pressure. Any more than that, and something's wrong. Now, I don't know if I can load this up with the springs or if it'll toss it out. Let's give it a try. That looks pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. It would kind of suck if the springs were, you know, so strong that it just made these fly out of the caliper bracket, but that looks pretty good. So I'd be able to just set that right where it goes over the rotor. Hopefully that rotor screw is going to hold it nice and still for us. And it does seem to be. The rear brakes are going to be a little bit different because it's got that electronic parking brake. So we're going to need to put this into service mode to get that to where we can compress the pistons. So we're gonna need a scan tool for that. So I'm gonna fire up the launch. Just got that thing. It's pretty sweet. All right, some more of that brake loop here. We're just gonna do a little bit of this on the face of these pistons. All right, let's pull this down. Get rid of this hook. And then turn the caliper, making sure that this doesn't have any twists in it, no pigtails. That is gonna make it real hard to drive this car. I'm just kind of squeezing the pads together because we've got those anti-drag springs pushing them down, or pushing them out. There we go. And yes, I know, I didn't torque anything yet. We're getting to that. I just want to put this all together first. I don't want those pads falling off. I don't think you do either. Okay, the caliper bolts, 19 millimeter. We're going to go to 101 foot-pounds. Caliper bracket bolts. I said caliper. All right. And the 14 millimeter, these are the caliper bolts, 37. So we're going on this one. All right, this one's 13 millimeter. Let's grab these off here. All right, let me show you what's happening. The pin is spinning, so let me grab something. Check these out. Look how thin those are. It looks like they were just ground off, but that's how they came from the factory. CP the Tool Addict showed these on his channel, and I was like, yes, that is exactly what I need for times like this, when I need to get in there between that rubber boot and the caliper right here. This fits right down in there perfect. Look at that. So perfect. And it didn't touch that rubber, which is good because I don't want to buy new boots. But this makes a whole lot more sense than a set of thin wrenches. Made in Japan, even shipped from Japan, direct from Japan to my house. It only took about a week. So tools like this, anything that I'm using on this job today, there's gonna be a link down in the description. And thanks to CP the Tool Addict, he really knows his stuff. He's probably forgotten more about tools than I'll ever know. Check out his channel for some really good tool content. He knows what he's talking about. Here we go. I'm just gonna set this kind of up here, out of the way. And then I gotta clean it. It's pretty dirty. A little brake clean and a nylon brush. It'll get this thing polished up good. I just want to peel back this boot, make sure it's not going to get pinched when I push this caliper back. But first, we can't push it back until we put this into service mode. Let me grab the launch, show you how that looks. This function is used in rear brake pad maintenance. Refer to the manual, okay. And then enter brake pad maintenance mode. I'll show you what it looks like. Must return to normal mode in order to return pad to original position. Okay. So there's the back to normal right there. We'll do that when we get to it. All right, we're in service mode now. It's safe to push this piston back. And we're gonna do it just as slow and easy as the front one. Not putting hardly any pressure on it at all. Just going real easy here. If you don't put this into service mode, the motor and the gears inside will prevent you from moving it at all. little bit of uneven pad wear, not too bad, but we'll go ahead and replace all of this hardware and grease up these these caliper slides. Get these things working as good as possible. We'll go ahead and hose these off good. Clean them up a bit. They're really not bad. If they were rusty and nasty, I would take them off, bring them over to the grinder or whatever, just to get these cleaned up, but these aren't bad. These pins are moving pretty freely, but I'm gonna go ahead and take them out, clean them up, get some new grease on there. This is kind of a relaxing job. You can come out into the garage, turn on some, whatever your favorite music is, just kind of paint, Bob Ross style, you know what I'm saying? And before you know it, your car is gonna be stopping smooth as glass. Let's get this one out. I put a little bit too much on there. It's okay, we can just get it off on the brush. And then we also have to paint right in here, just like we did up front, where the new hardware is gonna go. Make sure you don't get the rotor, or you're gonna have to break out some more brake clean. There was a little bit of air in that boot, so I just squeezed it out, just kind of burped it. What do you guys do to relax when you get home from a busy day chasing the kids, or at school, or at work, whatever it is you're doing? Do you like working on cars, doing brake jobs, or watching football? I don't know, this is kind of my hobby. Do brake jobs. We got an engine. We got a engine coming out of a WRX soon. And that's gonna be, it's gonna be a big job. Got head gaskets, got transmission replaced, all sorts of good stuff. My head's gonna be in your way. But I think that big WRX job, I'll go ahead and record it, because I don't know, maybe you'll want to come along with me and watch me do that. 20 hours of labor on that one, according to the book. We'll see how long it takes me with sort of my weekend speed, my non-professional speed, and of course, the camera, which takes a little bit more time. All right, here we go. Hardware on this, a little different. It's got a lot more happening there. Looks like it kind of grabs those pads and holds them in, or something. Some sort of spring-a-ma-doo, spring-a-ma-bob, thingamajigger, whatever. We'll get the pads on and try and just get that wedged in there. There goes the AC again. There. Yeah, those little springy guys there makes that just a little bit more difficult. But we got it. It's on there. We got the grease on the caliper. Let's see if I can put this down. You know what I didn't do yet? I didn't put any Loctite on those caliper bolts. Dang it. Let me see if I can get it on there like this. There we go. Okay, let me grab a caliper bolt. Wee little touch of Loctite. That's all I'm doing. Makes me feel good. I think I would lose sleep at night if I thought that somehow a family could be in a van that doesn't stop because the brakes fell off. That would suck. So I do what I can, you know. Not just so I sleep better, but I want people to be safe. All right, so for these 13 mils, you want 25 foot-pounds. Not a lot, just snug them up. If you don't want to use a torque wrench, I don't blame you. It's fine. Don't kill them. And also, oh, you see it turning? Let me grab that wrench. Okay, 25. Okay. What did we get? 23.9. Oh, we gotta go more than that. That's not 25. There we go. Now you got, now we're over, 26.3. All right, fresh from the passenger front. I got a wheel and tire. It's pretty crazy. I used to sit on the floor and use my feet to kind of pick up the wheels. Working on lift's pretty cool. I'm glad you were here to experience my first repair on a lift, or I guess maintenance on a lift. I had a lot of fun. Hopefully you had a lot of fun too. Don't go away yet. We still have some more stuff to do with the scan tool, and we got to get this thing ready for a test drive. Because if you just drive it away like this, you're gonna hit whatever's in front of you. Don't you love wheel locks? We're gonna torque these down as soon as the car's on the floor. Okay, let's go ahead and go back to where we were. Where were we? Okay, brake pad maintenance mode. And then back to normal mode. See that? Back to normal mode. Okay, let's see what happens. All right, sweet. So if you don't have a scan tool like this, there probably are cheaper versions out there, but this one is fantastic, also in the tool store. All right, now we're just gonna torque these down to 94 foot-pounds. Okay, before we even get started, I'm gonna go ahead and pump up the brakes. I'm only going about halfway down with the pedal. I'm just gonna keep on doing that. Oh, there we go, until the pedal starts feeling hard again. So once it's firm, you'll be able to stop the car. If you don't do this, you're not going to be able to. Well, thanks for coming out here with me. This is the first job I've done on this lift, and I had a really good time doing that. I love that I don't have to get on the ground anymore. But right now it's time for me to go out and bed in these brakes. They're brand new, so there's a procedure you gotta do. But while I'm doing that, you can go right up here. That's the Amazon tool store. All of the tools that I use and recommend that are available on Amazon, they're right there in that store. So check that out. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.